shuttle has cleared the tower. Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Happy Monday, everyone. How is everyone doing? Just realized I need to change the name of my stream. Because I'm a silly person. Forgot to change it. Oh my. There we go. Hi, everybody. How are we doing? Are we having a good Monday so far, I hope? I hope you had a really nice weekend. Nice and relaxing with the beginnings of summer. Hope you were able to get out and you had some good weather. Were able to enjoy it. And, maybe do some swimming. Maybe go to the beach. Maybe go have a picnic. I just hope you had some fun. I had a pretty relaxing weekend. I did get to go swimming, which was nice. It was a little too cold to swim outside because it still hasn't gotten consistently warm here for the past couple of weeks. But I did get to go. Yeah, I went to swimming at an indoor pool, probably for the last time before they shut down for the summer. Because for some reason, I don't know why, the pool here closes down on June 6th. It doesn't open again until I think September. I don't know why that is. I'm guessing it's so that staff can have a summer break. And, I do live on the coastline, so there probably are beaches around here that people can go swimming. And so I'm guessing that's probably why. So there's going to be other options available for people to go swimming outside of, this one indoor pool. But at least I got to go swimming this weekend, and it was nice. Nice time swimming. And now we're back. It's Monday, and, for most people, it's back to work. Which, I get it. Work sucks. What do you do? So, something I was talking about with, some people I know, is the new thing that happened with Spotify. So I don't know how many of you heard about this, but Spotify had a little device that they called Car Thing. And what it was is this was something you could use if you didn't have a car that had, Apple CarPlay, or Android Auto built into it where you could hook your phone up to it. Or if you didn't want to use your phone as like a stand-up media player on your car dash. Spotify came out with this thing called Spotify Car Thing. And it was, obviously linked to your Spotify account. And what it would do is, you could listen to your Spotify music in your car using this Car Thing. Touch display and dial. And it's basically like a little media center for your car if your car didn't already have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It came out 2 years ago. came out in February of 2022, and already it's dead. A car thing is now, they're now telling people to that car thing is dead and gone. And I don't know. It's another example of forced obsolescence in technology. Let's see. Bring this up. And it's unfortunately it's another issue of forced obsolescence, which is just really we're seeing it more and more, unfortunately, which is really bad. And because now, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Because we're actually seeing more and more of this with tech companies releasing these products. Actually, I'm going to actually move you over. Nope. I'm moving myself. There we go. Move you over here. And I'm going to move over here, just so I'm not blocking off chat, in case chat. But we're seeing this happening more and more with tech companies that are trying to, quote unquote, innovate. And they're trying to break into competitive markets with these new hardware launches. But when they fail, they basically tell the customer, too bad, sucks to be you. You're now out $10. In the case of Spotify, it was like $200. And so this is an article from Yahoo. It says the hardware player sold you 2 years ago will stop working, and the only thing you can do is throw it in the trash, because they're not actually offering refunds for any of this. So, it went on sale in 2022, and they stopped actually making it within a year. And now Spotify has basically said they're going to kill every one of their devices. So this is not even so much as, well, they're not making anymore. This is, we are actually going to remotely kill the device. So the device you paid for will no longer work. And this is kind of harkening back to the argument of how live service models are not dangerous, but how they are going to screw the customer in the consumer market. That the live service model is not beneficial to customers. So, it's, you see here, it's as of December 9th, 2024, her thing will be discontinued and will stop operating. Which means the $200 piece of equipment that you bought that's running on a service that still exists. Spotify's not going anywhere. But the device that you bought that runs on a service that still exists is going to die. And the only thing you can do is factory reset it and throw in garbage or bring it to your local electronics store to try and recycle it so it doesn't pollute a landfill or something. And this is pretty scummy because they're not doing refunds, they're not doing trade-ins, like they're not doing something very simple that they could have done. It's very simple. They could have, instead of just simply saying, "Oh, too bad, so sad," they could have said, okay, and this is something so easy, which begs the question why they didn't do it. They could have sent out an email to customers saying, look, car thing didn't pan out. We're killing it off. And as of December 9th, it will be no more. And for goodwill to your customers, who may very well have been with you for years, they could have very easily said, offered the customers of Car Thing, hey, if you send your car thing back to us, we will set you up with a postage paid. You stick it in a box, postage paid, send it back to us, or maybe not even that, because they probably don't want it back. They just want to kill it. They could have easily said, in lieu of refunding you, we will give you X amount of dollars. Maybe not the full 200, maybe do like $100 or something in Spotify credit. So they can credit your Spotify account X amount of dollars as a means of compensation. So you basically have Spotify at no cost for X amount of months, depending on how much. That's something they could have very easily have done and been a very nice goodwill gesture on part of the customer. But instead, they decided to say, nope, factory reset your device and throw it in the trash. And, forget about the fact that we're just basically screwing you over. Let's see. So, no onboard storage, can only connect by Bluetooth. But people, I guess, the amount of people that had it liked it because they didn't have CarPlay or something like that for music. Now, I will say this is an overly niche product, because most people, even if they don't have CarPlay or Android Auto where they can connect their devices to it, they're still just using their phones to connect with their vehicle. And even if their vehicle doesn't have Bluetooth integration for some reason, Bluetooth has been a standard feature in cars now for many, many years. If for some reason, though, you have an older car back from the early 2010s where the Bluetooth integration didn't really work well in terms of media. It worked well for basically putting your phone over to the car so you could make answer calls, but it really didn't do music. Instead of getting Car Thing, it was a very simple matter to buy a $20 or $30 FM transmitter, Bluetooth FM transmitter, and just connect your phone to it that way. So, this is like people who put, a good chunk of change into, into this Spotify device that is now dead. And for no reason. Now, obviously this may have to do with the fact that Spotify laid off thousands of its employees. Once again, another big tech firm that is sending thousands to the curb and killing off a whole ton of jobs. Like these big industries, I think, are starting to discover that I think they're into the tail end of realizing this isn't 2020 or 2021 or even 2022 anymore, and we have more employees than our business can pay for and still make a lot of profit. It's not just making some profit, it's making a lot of profit. And thereby, giving their corporate execs big paychecks. They're starting to realize that their CEO and their executives are going to be hard pressed to be making 6-figure, 7-figure yearly incomes if they've got all of these employees. And so now they're probably cutting, they're trying to cut as many costs as possible. That's why they laid off thousands of employees. Probably why they killed Kerfing, because that way they don't need to spend money on employees to maintain it. Instead, they can divert those employees to other aspects of Spotify. Which, honestly, I'm not kind of Spotify. I mean, I'm not even sure. What is Spotify's ranking in streaming services, I wonder? Let's see. What is it? Let's see. Is Spotify. So, let's see. Okay, it's not really showing. Well, let's see. Let's go down here. Still isn't helping. There we go. Okay, so Spotify still has the #1 spot at 30%. So they still are the #1 spot in streaming services. Followed distantly behind Apple Music. I've never heard of Tencent Music, Amazon at 13%, and then YouTube. Should probably be the only ones that anybody knows. So, yeah, Spotify is still in the lead, which begs the question of why they're laying off thousands of workers. Now, it surprises me that Spotify has such a commanding lead over the rest because, in my experience, there have been several tracks and individual songs that I have not been able to find on Spotify that I was able to find on Apple Music and YouTube Music. And like YouTube Music is actually a better deal, in my opinion, because for the same price as Spotify, you can get YouTube Music, which is the same thing as Spotify, but you at the same time also get YouTube Premium. That's bundled into it. So, P.S., I know a lot of people talk about how, just use ad blockers for YouTube if you hate the ads and so on and so forth. And YouTube's always in this constant battle with the ad blocker companies. But the fact is YouTube Music does what I want to do. It actually has tracks in its library that I can't get on Spotify. And by paying the same price as Spotify, I'm also getting YouTube Premium. So why wouldn't I just go that route? It's a better deal for me. So it actually does kind of surprise me a little bit that YouTube Music is so far down on the list. Not overly surprising, but, it's... See, you can avert the thing. Yeah, well, that's... if I were you. Well, and that's the thing. In this article, Alex, they actually talk about, weird saying. So owners have called on Spotify to make it open source so they can try and repurpose it or maintain it themselves. How good its rootability is, because it is, as said to me earlier, it is rooted in Android. But how effective would a rooted Spotify car thing be? Because I imagine you may run into some trouble if it's rooted trying to put Spotify back onto it, perhaps. Now, I don't know for sure. It may be incredibly easy to do it. But if it was made open source, then that opens up the possibility of a lot of usability for it. But Spotify could have done something with Car Thing instead of just literally killing it in a few months. Oh. So, yeah, and again, this isn't a commentary on Spotify's service. I don't have any bone to pick with Spotify as a service. I used Spotify for many years, and it was fine. It was fine. But like I said, for me personally, there were songs and there were tracks that I couldn't get on Spotify that I was able to get on Apple Music or YouTube Music. So that's why I eventually just made the change over to YouTube Music, because for my personal choice music, there were more options for me. Now, for Alex, for you may have the majority of the music you like on Spotify. That's fine. Again, I changed over for my own personal reasons, and I'm not disparaging Spotify as a streaming service. I think it's just fine as a streaming service. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that part of it. But I do think that the way they are behaving with Car Thing is pretty scummy. And that's what I have a problem with right now, is this business practice that they're having with Car Thing. That's an issue. Now, is it going to cause people to start leaving in droves? Well, yeah. It's spread out as in, like, across different music services? Is that what you mean by spread out? Yeah, exactly. And well, this is a problem with the streaming model as is for everything media-based. I've mentioned this, and I've said this many times over the years, is that having so many different streaming services is going to end up being a detriment in the end, not a benefit, because people can't afford to purchase 10 different streaming services simultaneously. They can't afford that, because now you're talking about, with your average streaming service, if you don't want ads, you're looking at $12 to $15 per streaming service, depending upon where you live, of course. So for you to get like the 10 different streaming services that you need or that you want to encompass all of your shows, you're talking about $100, $150 per month just for your streaming services. And that's just absolutely an insane idea. And what ends up happening is most people they'll get one, maybe two streaming services, and that's it. And now all of the shows that are on these other streaming services, well, now large swaths of people aren't watching them anymore, because they can't afford to have that streaming service in their catalog as well. They can only afford one or maybe two streaming services. And the ones that get picked are going to be the ones that have the best programs. And, I mean, let's be honest. Overall, no streaming service has the edge up on anyone in that regard right now. Um, entertainment is entertainment's probably at a multi-decade long low in terms of quality. In terms of music, well, you are going to run into a similar situation because people can't afford to have multiple music streaming services when the majority of the music in said streaming services will be shared across all three. We'll say all three platforms, going with Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Music. We use those three as our examples. The majority of music is the same, spread out across all three. But now you have to look at the features. So Apple Music, great for Apple devices, for the Apple mobile devices and for the Apple PC devices, because you can actually have the Apple Music app on all the devices. Not so with PC. You can obviously get Apple Music on mobile if you want it. It is available on Android, but you can't get Apple Music for PC unless you go through a complicated web interface. Spotify, universal across all devices. That's a big plus in their favor. Spotify is universally usable across all devices. You just download them. Apple Music, I haven't tried it in a while. Is it when did it make it out of the Microsoft Store? Because when I tested Apple Music some time ago, it didn't. I could not locate an Apple Music app for it. I had to use a web interface for it. So that may be new. And I just wasn't. This was some time ago that I did the 30-day trial for Apple Music. So the dedicated Windows app may have come out after that, and I just wasn't aware of it. And if it is, great. That's great. 6 months trial. How'd you get a 6-month trial? I only got like a 30-day trial. All right, so Apple is going closer to the realm of Spotify. Oh, iPhone purchase. Okay, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense then.